Okay, so this is going to be a pretty crazy Framer video because we are writing no code using AI tools like Gemini, Nano Banana, and Framer to create something like this. Absolutely amazing, isn't it? Like, just a really cool little effect. Again, from complete scratch, without writing any code and using a little bit of AI help. So if this is something that makes you go like, wow, I want to know how to create that, maybe just stick around until the end of the video. My name is Nandi, this is Framer University, and let's get started. Okay, so before we actually jump into the juice, I just want to show you the original inspiration from Weber or Weber, not too sure about the pronunciation there, but that's my inspiration right here. As you can see, just a pretty cool little effect. As you hover around here, these little heads turn into see-through heads and you can kind of see the skull. I was like, okay, let's create something like this, but inside a Framer and using a little bit of AI and stuff like that. So this is the end product. And in this video, you're learning how to do this from complete scratch. So first things first, let's jump into Framer and discuss what we have here, because this is a starter project. So you can go down to the description, click the remix link, and if you click the remix link, you're going to find the starter page inside of Framer. On the left, if you go to starter, you're going to see basically the same thing I'm seeing here, and you can start building with me. So this is going to be pretty cool. So before we start, we have to know how we utilized AI, because actually AI is utilized for making sure we have the images, because the way this effect works is we have an image in the foreground and in the background, and with a very special component we basically switch between those images. So you can see we have the foreground, normal heads, and then background is the skull heads, and as you hover, one reveals the other. So yeah, how do we get those images? Let me show you my process. I actually recorded, I'm not going to do it live right here, but I'm going to walk you through my process in a second. So as you can see, the first step is making sure we have a strong prompt, which you can see right here. So you can maybe just copy this or whatever, or just write something similar. I don't know if you want to create the same heads. I don't think so, but as you can see, I got a pretty good result. However, I didn't really like the orientation and the spacing and the sizing of these heads. So I had to move on to Pixelmator Pro and kind of edit these little heads to make them look like this. So as you can see, here's the before after. We went from these heads to these heads. You can see I also tweaked the colors a little bit, but basically that's it. Nothing too special. Now, once I had that, I pasted my image into Gemini again, Nano Banana Pro, as you can see, Nano Banana 2 actually. And I asked, hey, keep the blue styling, but add minimalist skull bone structure inside the heads, keep everything else. So as you can see, it basically did exactly that. It created basically the same heads, but now they are skulled, which is really nice. And I think that's it. Yeah, I also made sure that these skull heads are kind of matching the styling of this one right here. So I also changed the colors a little bit, changed the background color to a little bit darker tone. So you can kind of see how the foreground or the front image and the back image looks as we toggle between the two. So as you can see, it was a mix of generating images with AI and then bringing them into Photoshop or Pixelmator Pro to kind of edit them to make sure that we really have what we are actually looking for. Lovely. So now that we have this and we know how we created the images, we can jump into Framer and we can start building. By the way, obviously you don't have the images. You can either generate yours, or on the starter page, you're going to find the front and the back. You can select these frames and on the right panel, just export them. That simple. Make sure to use the Framer app though, because this is only available on the Framer app. If you're on browser version, this export is not really going to be here. So I'm going to go to the tutorial page because this is where I'm building. And so the first thing that we need is a component that allows us to add that fluid hover mask reveal effect to these two images. So let's do that. Obviously, Framer University will be utilized, and we're jumping onto the resources page here because there is a resource called Crazy Hover crazy hover mask reveal in Framer. We can actually also search for like crazy here, and it's gonna basically show the results if you're not in the middle of nothing. As you can see, for some reason in this case it's not really okay. Actually, it loaded the results, perfect. So we actually need this component, so we're gonna just click it and copy the component, and we can jump back inside of Framer to add this to our canvas by just pressing Command and V on our keyboard. Lovely. So now we have this right here, and we can kind of resize it, but of course we need responsive behavior, so the width and height will simply be set to fill and fill. So now whatever I do, it will follow the size and the width and the height of the viewport, which is very cool. So as you can see, it asks me to add the images. So what I'm going to do, actually, okay, so I just noticed that this text is not correct here. We have to update that. But sorry for the little blooper, a little mistake. We're going to update that, whatever. So we're going to select the component on the right panel. We're going to go to the front image, and we're going to upload the front image. Super simple. So I'm going to open my Finder and upload the front image. In a few seconds, it's going to be uploaded. Again, I'm in the middle of nowhere, so it takes a little longer, but as you can see, we have it right here. I'm going to also upload my back image very, very quickly. And in a few seconds, we're going to have that as well. So once it's uploaded, I can just go and take a look how it looks like. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. However, we can kind of tweak it to make sure that it actually works very nicely. So what I want to do is I want to change the parallax effect to only 5 pixels. The smoothing will be 0.6 maybe. And my connection is so slow that the editing just got disabled, but I'm reconnecting immediately. So now I can continue editing. So amount is 5 pixels, smoothing is 0.6, radius is 0, size is maybe 0.11, strength can be 0.5, let's say. Return time 2 seconds should be good. Edge grain maybe 0.5, swirl, let's just try 50. Okay, so these properties are something that you can really play around with, but the point is that at the end you're gonna have this effect, and you can immediately see that, wow, okay, so this looks very, very cool. However, I didn't really stop here. You kind of remember, I guess, the thing that we're building looks like this. It has this CRT monitor effect, sort of. Also, it blinks a little bit, just like a regular screen. I mean, not regular, maybe an older screen. And we also have these grids on top, which also do crazy stuff. So let's take this to the next level inside of this project. So we need a few different elements. I think we need to start with this grid, which is actually the Kinetic grid component from Framer University. So in order to add this Kinetic grid in our project, we just have to go again to Framer University, search for Kinetic grid, and copy it to our project. So I'm going to copy it, go back to Framer, and I'm going to press Command and V on my keyboard to paste this in. Now you can see that this is a relative position element, so I can't really position it over the previous component. What I have to do is I have to set the position to absolute. So now it's over, but it actually isn't. I think it is not over, it's below. How do I make sure that it's over? Well, I have to make sure that the z-index is set to a larger value, let's say 2 or 3. And now you can see that these little grids are actually on top, very nice. So now all these pins on the top right will be set to 0 to make sure that it's nicely following the size of this whole section, because it's pinned to all sides with 0 pixel distance. And then again on the right panel, I can customize this, maybe add a little bit of a different hover color here. I'm gonna increase the radius as well. I don't know, I actually don't really remember what I did here, but maybe something like this. I actually don't know. Let's just see if it looks good. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. However, that's weird. So as I hover over, it disappears. Maybe I have to set the z-index even to a larger value. Let's try z-index 7. Yeah, as you can see now, it's really indeed over everything, which looks very cool. Now, I'm gonna just double check to make sure that the background is 0. Yeah, it is 0%. And yeah, everything is set up, I think, as it should be. Also, actually, we can add the click, which basically just adds this click effect here, which I haven't added on the original, but here we might as well just do it. So as you can see, we already have something that looks much better, but let's just take this even further by adding this like CRT monitor effect with this blinking and everything to make it look, just add a little bit of texture to it, right? Like imagine like your site has this texture. Guys, please do not do this, I'm recording. So yeah, you kind of add this texture to your website and like, I don't know, it just feels different, makes it a little bit more unique. And you can do this in Framer without writing any code, so it's going to be easy. So the way we do it is we get this CRT pattern and we literally just export this as a 4x. So it's going to make sure that you're exporting a 4x, so it's actually larger than it is here on the canvas. We export this and we're going to tile it over, over our website, essentially. So let me just quickly save this here in my little whatever finder, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a frame here, just here outside of the website, press Command and X and paste it within the hero with Command and V. Again, same process, set it to absolute positioning, pin it to all sides with 0 pixel distances, and just set the z-index to 10. And what I'm going to also do here is I'm going to remove pointer events, making sure that this layer that is now over everything on the website is not actually preventing me from interacting with underlying layers. Lovely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right panel, and instead of having a fill color, I'm going to have an image here. And I'll just upload the little CRT that I just, exported as a PNG. And then, as you can see now, it has these lines here, which, is pretty cool. However, this isn't really exactly what I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the type to tile, which basically allows me to, do this, tile it over my website. And I can change the scale here to make it smaller or larger. I actually don't really remember what I had on the original. That's something I might want to check. So 45%. Let's do that here as well. 45%. Lovely. And as you can see, this is what we have, but this to me just looks a little bit too harsh. So what I did is I just set filters blur and set it to just 1. So now this right here is just slightly blurred. Actually, let me just set it to 1. So now you can see it's just slightly blurred, and it just gives off a different effect. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just a little bit different. What I also did is I applied the blending mode to this image and set it to, I think, overlay. Again, makes it a little bit different, isn't it? Looks pretty cool. Yeah, I love it. So now that we have this, we can move to the next step, which is actually going to be adding that sort of blinking effect. So the way I did that is I just drew a frame here, then pasted it over, again, same process, absolute position, 0 pins all around, and then I set this color to black 20%. Okay, so black 20%. Now, if I start adjusting the opacity and I start dragging it like this, you can kind of see that if we do this automatically somehow on the website, it's going to start blinking, and we can actually do that. All I have to do is just name it overlay, add an effect, which is a loop, set it to mirror, and then no rotation, just opacity to 0, and it's going to be spring, and maybe, I don't know, I'll just set it to 1.6 maybe, and with a little bit of bounce, so it's going to be like bouncing back and forth, creating this like, I don't know, this blinking effect. Now with this, it kind of adds this effect to the website. However, to me, it really feels predictable, and what I want here is something a little bit more randomized, that feels a little bit more random. So the way I can do that is I can wrap this within a wrapper frame. So pay attention to what I'm doing here. Right click, add a frame. So this frame is still absolute position, pin it to all sides. Also make sure that this is actually pointer events none and the z-index is bumped up to 10. And so this will be a wrapper frame which will get the same effects. So I'm going to copy effects from the overlay and paste effects on the wrapper. You might be wondering, Nandi, how the hell did you do that copy and paste effects? Easy. I just select the layer, press Command and K, and write whatever I want to do. Copy effects, paste effects, both works. So now I have the same effect on both of these. Doesn't make a difference. Still pretty predictable and not really randomized. So the key here is making sure that the wrapper's transition setting is slightly offsetted. Maybe delay it a little bit, maybe set it delay 0.4, maybe make the time a little bit longer. So now if I take a look at this, there are 2 loop effects applied to 2 different layers, which basically makes sure that it just feels a little bit more random. Sometimes it's a little darker, sometimes it's a little bit brighter, and it just looks very, very nice. And it works, and it's our website, and we can go to the top right corner, click publish, update the website, and it's right there on the internet that we can send to our clients, charge thousands of dollars, and live a happy life wherever we are. So I really do hope that this video was helpful and you were able to learn something. If you got stuck somewhere, make sure to drop a comment and ask, because I would love to help you guys. Also, if you have any requests for future videos, whatever, make sure to do that in the comment section. And also make sure to visit Framer University regularly, because I'm posting new resources almost every single day, and all of this is free. All of this is Framer related, components, tutorials, I don't know, remix things. You can literally take a look within projects that you wouldn't even think that are possible to build in Framer, and you can just see how they're built. So it's just super cool, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's it for this video. I'll go now, and make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.